So, I'm just gonna watch, like, your first fight or so, and then I'm gonna start talking about things. I just want to get a sense of how you play first, yeah? My tanks didn't need much healing, and the enemy ignored me, just sniping, scoped in down main. Nice. That comp looks delicious, especially for silver. Yeah, it's... For a low rank comp, it's really not bad. There's a lot of problems with it in a high elo, but whatever. Who cares? Okay, so we flashed the turrets, which maybe isn't the move. Okay. So... I'm gonna... You know what? We're gonna start at the beginning. Yeah? Let's bird's eye view this like this. Boom. Yeah, I'd be sad if I had that in Masters, but even in Diamond, I'd be happy with it if I was playing Cass. In Diamond, if the Rhine was aggro as shit, I would be okay with it. Plat and below, I think Rhine Zarya is fine. High plat and up is where Rhine and Zarya both really start to struggle. Rhine especially. But an aggro Rhine and Diamond with double pocket can clean the fuck up because Diamond players won't know how to deal with that. Anyway. So, where do I want to start with this? Yeah, Rhine Zarya, you just have to play fast and just, like, ego rush them. Yep. Yeah, and then if the Cassidy is good, a Rhine Zarya running into you full tilt, like just hard inting into you, Cassidy on an off angle, if they're hitting their shots, just gets to clean up for free. Like, you hit like a freight train and everyone's looking at the Reinhardt. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about a silver game here, yeah? Yeah, okay, first things first. We got the point here, yeah? So, the objective on almost every map in the game, there's like a few kind of exceptions, like the Bell on Hanamura first comes to mind, but for the most part, the objective is a low ground with no cover, completely surroundable by high grounds that usually have cover, yeah? It's a death trap. It's called a kill box for a reason. People come here to die. And in low elo, all of the time, you, your team, their team, fucking everyone panics over this point. We can't even let them touch it. We have to go touch it. We have to contest it. But the fact is, you can give a tick. You can give 2 ticks. You can give 99.9% of the point. So long as you win the fight. Yeah? And then you get to keep holding this point, and you don't have to move on to defending the next one, yeah? And especially the first fight of the game, like, you might need to build up ultimates to win the fight. That's not wrong or bad. It is perfectly valid to need ults to win a fight. You got 6 of them on your team. If you build them fast enough and you use 2 at a time in good ways, then once you get that ball rolling, you'll just always have ults for every fight, so it's fine, right? It just means the first fight, you might have to play really slow to build up those initial ults. So, all of this together means a couple of things. First off, oh my god, there's just so much, and I don't want to give you too much, so I think I'm going to make this pretty simple. I want to be clear, this is a starting point, yeah? There's so much to learn when it comes to DPS, yeah? DPS is the hardest role in the game. Good luck, buddy. I don't mean that to flame you, but like, I just wanted to be clear that this is a starting point, yeah? It's not going to be the answer all the time forever. So, you have, generally speaking, 3 lanes. Some points get a little bit funky, because like, you could call that 4 lanes maybe, but these are really just sort of 1. It depends a lot on the map. Like I said, some of them get kind of funky, but generally speaking, most maps are built around 3 lanes. As a DPS, it is your job, amongst other things, you have a ton of jobs. One of your many jobs is to control one of them. And control doesn't mean hold it against all comers at all costs, yeah? You are just a poor Cassidy. If 3 people come for you, you can't win that, like, and you're not expected to, yeah? What you're expected to do, though, is make them pay for it. It's not about holding a spot, yeah? It's about moving through spots and doing damage the whole time, making them spend resources, maybe getting lucky picks, making them go through fucking hell before they touch the point, and then the point, they have no cover. So after they've gone through all this hell and worn out all their resources, they come here only to die. Is sort of the idea. So just to give you some ideas here, like in this game, places you could hold or think about holding. This is generally considered like the spot to hold on this map is this bridge, because like look at this, you got cover. If anyone tries to push you, you see them coming a mile away, you can roll off this way and grab Mega. You can rotate out here to see the point and contest point. And while you're here, you can contest point. If they don't clear you out and they start pushing past, they're doing damage the whole way. If they don't clear you out and they come around here, then that gives you time to make this rotation, and now we have cover and a corner and we're doing damage. And like I said, if anyone comes for you, it's fine. You shoot them for as long as you can, and then you fucking leave. And then they spent time and resources to get air, to get fucking nothing, to push up here only to find that you're already gone. Yeah? So one way to look at the map, and tying all of this sort of together, is open space, a choke. Open space, a choke, or a choke. Open space, yeah? And each of these open spaces is a kill box. Chokes and kill boxes you want to surround. So if you, oh my god, I'm giving you so much. I'm almost sorry, dude. I'm ADHD as shit, and my meds haven't kicked in. So, if you think of the choke as a funnel, yeah? It funnels all your damage into a narrow area that's difficult for the enemy to avoid it all. So it's very expensive to push through this narrow area. But the strength of the choke only exists when the enemy is inside of the choke and you are not. So your tanks being in this open space here and holding this far forward, you can't control your tanks. It's not your fault, but like, they are denying the strength from your team, and instead they're putting themselves into the funnel for the enemy team. So they take shit tons of damage that they can't really avoid. They have no room to back up when they lose resources. And since you all are stacked on each other, you can only really shoot in the one direction. Yeah, you can't funnel your damage into that. So if we see the map as a series of high grounds with cover, open spaces, and chokes, we want to use those high grounds with cover to take angles on the open spaces and the chokes, and then we want to rotate through to see as many of them as we can as the enemy team pushes through. And that way you're like just doing damage the whole way. Yeah? So to simplify that, here's an open space. We probably, like, depending, we probably don't want to do anything here. Yeah, like maybe we're hanging back and we're doing some damage to folks as they walk into this, but we don't want to be hanging out here fighting this open space. Yeah, that would be bad. So we're just going to, like, we're not really going to hit this spot. That's fine, whatever. But the choke, we could stand here, we could be back here, though you got fall off. We could get up here, we could be up on this bridge, like I said. If we really wanted to play low ground, we could be back, like, any angle. And if we see our whole team like this, if they're over here, soldiers over here, then probably we want to take an angle like this, yeah? Something along this other side, so we create a crossfire, so we have multiple angles through this choke. So I'm not saying that this is necessarily the plan that you would want to do. This is an idea to get the creative juices rolling, yeah? But if we were to hold close here, there's a risk to holding close, yeah? I'm not saying you always want to do this, but it does get you within your effective damage, and if somebody starts pushing you, you can flash them, and you can roll back this way, and when you roll back this way, and this is really important, coming this way along the wall versus rolling back through open space. If you roll back to the point through open space, they keep shooting you. If you come this way, they can't shoot you until they walk all the way into this open space. They have to walk fully into the kill box before they can get an angle on you, and by the time they do that, you'd be around this corner or this corner. So, we got our angle, we're doing damage, somebody pushes us, we roll out, we get to here, and now as they're pushing up, we're doing damage, we come up to here, they start pushing onto the point, we're doing damage, they get onto the point, and we're doing damage, yeah? All throughout here is opportunities for you to kill something, or a teammate to follow up on the damage you're doing, or, you know, whatever. So, you're just giving yourself so many opportunities to carry. When you hold one spot, it's do or die. Yeah? There is no try again. This is all about try, fuck. Try, fuck. Try, oh good, I just killed 3 people because those first 2 tries got out important shit like Fade or Lamp or, you know, whatever. Yeah? Moira is now low on healing and can't hard pocket somebody because she's been healing people all throughout this. So they get to the point and they just don't have resource left. You know, whatever. At the end of the day, yes, you do have to hit your shots, but you're giving yourself so many opportunities, yeah? Versus here where you still have to hit your shots, but it's harder to hit them. For reasons I'll go into later, they're less impactful. And like I said, it's do or die. Yeah? We don't get to try again on this point. So, it's 2 concepts known as spacing and kiting. So spacing is like your effective range, and you want to keep the enemy as close to that effective range as you can. And then kiting is the act of, if they push forward, you pull back to maintain that spacing. If they pull back, you push forward to maintain this spacing. It's this idea of ebb and flow, yeah? In and out, in and out. And so, like here, this is part of the problem with everyone just holding the choke, is you don't have speed or mobility as a team. Like, there's no Lucio or, like, dive or whatever. And so they just TP'd past you, and now you're pushing onto this. But if you were up here, yeah, we can get a little bit of damage in, but basically as soon as we see that TP start, we come to here, and now we can break those from safety and maybe save our Ana, and then we start doing damage here. So, like, this sim is probably going to start fighting our Ana in a second, yeah? But if we're doinking her, either she's going to die, or she's going to turn away from her Ana and look at us because she's getting shot from above. She's going to start panicking, yeah? And either way, we potentially save our Ana's ass, yeah? You're, not to flame you at all, but, like, you're a silver player, so, like, you might, you know, whiff these shots and she just kills your Ana anyway, and, like, shit happens. Whatever. But again, you're setting yourself up for success here, yeah? You're giving yourself your best possible chance of maybe carrying this. For, like, right here, if you were to be right here, right now, this is looking hard. It's going to be a very difficult fight, I'm not going to lie. But from here, you have options. You have things you can do, and you know what? Even silver players pop the fuck off sometimes, yeah? And the other thing is, up here, you're contested less. You're under less pressure. Who can do anything about you? Yeah? Reaper, Diva could fly on you eventually, but you could roll away. Lucio could come up here, but if he does, you can flash Phantom and he's fucked. Sim might be able to shoot at you a little bit, but she's easy enough to avoid. So you're basically free to actually aim, to just breathe and hit your shots. It's such a luxury, yeah? You won't see this in many other ELOs, so, like, enjoy it while you can. Your mechanics will be so much better just from taking these positions, because it'll be so much easier for you to play and to think and to make choices. Yeah. It's good to learn all this now, though. It'll take a shitload of time to apply it, but knowing the theory helps you improve with efficiency. Yeah. Yeah, I want to be clear, I'm giving you a lot, and it's probably a very new way of looking at the game, and I'm about to add even more onto it. So, like, it is not uncommon while you are learning and figuring the shit out and like getting it to feel right and familiar to you, it's not uncommon to lose like 1-200 SR. It's really not. It doesn't mean that this is wrong or that you're bad or anything. It just means like you are learning a shit ton of things at once, and humans aren't good at that. Yeah, we're better at learning one thing at a time. So it's just going to take a little bit to get all the pieces together, yeah? And then once all the pieces fit together, you'll see just how easily you're suddenly carrying these lobbies, yeah? Silver will not be a challenge for you anymore, just through positioning. Like, looking at your mechanics, like, on a wide scale, they're okay. For silver, they're fine. For gold, they're fine. You could vibe in plat with these mechanics. You really could, if your positioning was top-notch. Yeah? And so that buys you a little bit of elo to work on your mechanics, because, like, yeah, you're going to have to be a better shot than this for diamond. But, like, that buys you some time to work on that shit, yeah? Look at this. Look at this crosshair discipline. There it is. So stuff like just holding your crosshair at head height, it's so good. Silver players don't do that, yeah? Good. Good, good, good. And so this is... I'm just going to give you, like, a little microcosm of a tip here, yeah? It's not really related to much about your play in particular, but it's what you guys as a team are doing right now, and it's really fucking good. On 2CP maps, or also on, like, the third point of escort maps, basically where you have a massive respawn advantage, yeah? If you die for a pick, generally speaking, it is worth, because you'll be back and they won't. Yeah? We don't want to die and not get the pick, obviously. That could throw. But here's the thing. Their spawns are all the way over here. If you, as Cassidy, are just sort of like chilling wherever over here, we're waiting for the spawn camp, the Lucio comes out, we whiff our flash, and he claps us, yeah? We went for the cheeky spawn camp play, and this Lucio sits our ass down. Whatever. Even a Lucio, amping speed, will not be on this point before you are. Because you took that so early, they cannot possibly get to the fight before you anyway, yeah? So if you want to win... If you want to not lose a 2CP game, like, for the next 1,000 plus SR, this is what you do. You do your best on the first point, yeah? And you do your absolute best to not die on the first point. But on the second point, you kill. You hard murder, and you just flank, and you pick creative places. You pop up in different ways. You suddenly pop up here with your high noon as these guys are crossing open space, yeah? It's so early. You're not even giving them an opportunity to stage for a fight, let alone take a fight, yeah? And if you just keep getting these early picks, they never get a fight ever again, yeah? And you'll just watch them in real time. You'll watch their mental go to shit in real time. They'll start tilting on each other. They'll start falling apart. Everyone is going to want your ass. And like I said, so long as you... The thing is, you have to trade, or you have to die fast enough and early enough that you get back before they do. And then it's totally fine, yeah? It is fine to whiff this play so long as we do it soon enough. And yeah, you won't whiff it every time. You're a silver player, yeah? Because they're also silver players. You're going to catch these assholes by surprise all the goddamn time. You're going to wait here, but in a silver game, you can actually do this. I'm not necessarily recommending it, but you can absolutely get away with this in a silver game. Wait right here. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as people go past you, and then pop up, flash the sixth person, like flash fan the sixth person, roll to here so you have cover, and then work your way back to front, because the tanks will keep walking forward, and one person will turn around. Maybe two, and you got cover now, and you've already got one pick. You can, some games, just work your way back to front through a team, in silver and gold lobbies, both, yeah? Like I said, I'm not necessarily recommending this spot, but I'm just more like, this is what you're going for. And then the other thing is just don't make it predictable, yeah? So one time we popped up here, and then we popped up, like, here, and then, like, we were just waiting right fucking here, and then, you know, wherever, we pop up out of here. Get fucking creative, yeah? Because the moment they know where you're coming from, it's all over. They're just gonna go to you with multiple people, kill you, and then hard push the point. But, yeah, enough of that. Get early picks. Get early picks on 2CP, or like I said, third point on like an escort map. Anytime where your respawn advantage is so massive, you know it'll take them more than 10 seconds to get to the fight, even if you whiff the play. Because you got a 10-second respawn, and then you're basically there, yeah?
This life's never uneventful.
I got one more macro thing I want to give you, and I got a couple of micro things I want to give you that I think will make a really good... Yeah, this looks like an old CS player, just good crosshair placement and movement aim. Yeah. And the thing is, the better you... Well, there is a hit scan player named Highway, if you're not familiar with them. 4,500 on just... Well, 4,500 Ash, but also, like, a ton of other hit scan, and also tanks, and, like, they do a ton of unranked to GMs. They're very good. But one of the reasons they're, like, one of my favorite hit scan players to watch is they are a 4,500 hit scan player whose aim only looks a little bit better than mine. Yeah? To be fair, though, to be clear, it is significantly better than mine, but it only looks a little bit better because he's not hitting crazy flicks, yeah? Every now and again he hits the crazy flick, but, like, every now and again I hit the crazy flick. It doesn't mean I'm good enough to do that consistently, but he is so good at crosshair placement, at movement aim, at positioning and predicting his enemies, and etc., 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 and he is so consistent. He never misses an easy shot, and he gives himself almost nothing but easy shots. In 4,500 lobbies, he is giving himself easy shots to hit, and thus he does not need to be a god-level hit scan player to play in a 4,500 lobby, yeah? He just has to be... He's really fucking good, but the good is from all of the consistency and the good habits that anyone could have. Anyone could put the time in to build, yeah? It's not like god-level hand-eye coordination. It's all brain and practice. Yeah. So, the first micro thing I want to give you. We're going to build your positioning from the ground up. I actually gave you a lot of macro positioning stuff, but we're going to micro it too. First things first. Most important thing of anything ever. If you take nothing else from this VOD, I swear to you, like... I know, I'm Jewish, but sign of the cross. This will get you to gold. Full stop. Full stop. No other changes, right? This is the most important thing I'm telling you right now. Do hug corners at all times. Hug cover and corners at all times. If you have to cross open space, you cross all the way to a corner, and you don't fuck about. If you're going to be shooting as you're crossing, you're still moving the whole time. And any jitter to your movement is just about not getting shot. It's not about hanging out here longer, yeah? We are crossing as soon as we fucking can while taking as little damage as possible with good movement, yeah? Because the thing is, there are very, very few one-shots in this game. Highway's 4,700 positioning with 4,100 aim? Yeah. And the thing is, I don't consider mechanics to be god level until like 4,500-ish, yeah? Like the top of the top. It is... I don't want to say it's easy. It's still a grind. It's still work. It's still hours and hours and hours you gotta put into the game. But any human being, just normal-ass human being who wants to put in the grind can hit GM. For sure. Yeah? Like I say, it doesn't get crazy until an insanely high elo. But, anyway, there's basically no one-shots in the game. There's like Widow, Hanzo, but for the most part, yeah? Which means, so long as you are close enough to cover, like you gotta peek the enemy, obviously, but if you're close enough to cover that you could only get shot once, then nothing can ever kill you. Yeah, you get shot once and now we're in cover. And this buys time for your supports to heal you up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It buys time for you to go get a health pack, though, and change your angle so they don't know where you are, and so you can keep doing stuff. And the thing is, even when you have these respawn advantages, yeah? It's 10 seconds to respawn, plus however long to get back into the fight, yeah? So, right now, let's call it 15 to 20 seconds. On first point, let's call it a solid 30 seconds that we are down if we die. That means it would be better. So like on this point, even if we, let's say 15 seconds. So if we're low like we are right now, it is so much better for you to come over here and grab this mega and then re-enter the fight than it is for you to keep fighting and die. Yeah? Some, like, there are do or die situations, obviously, but this isn't one of them. All we need to do now is live, yeah? They haven't even entered the, like, this zone, let alone gotten to the point, yeah? All we need to do is live. If we live, we can do more. Like, whatever your mechanics are, whatever your game sense is, or amount of good, whatever impact you can bring to a game goes up if you live more, right? So like I said, this gets you to gold at least with no other changes. Is just always, always, always without fail. And I mean, be insanely disciplined about this, yeah? Insanely disciplined. Physically touch this cover. And beyond that, you know, like I said, high ground off angles are really good. On this map, I really, really like this spot because you can like pop up, do this, or this one can be really good too, but I personally find these things annoying as shit, so I usually take the other one. I don't know that that's a good enough reason to not use this side as often, but whatever. It's the idea, yeah? If we're here, we're just sort of in the middle. Everyone can see us, everyone can shoot us. If we're here, we got cover, we got great sight lines. If they ignore us and push past. So, like, whoop, God damn it. Where was it? Oh, right. Up here. So if we're on this spot, yeah? And they ignore us and push past. So as they're coming across, we're here, yeah? We're shooting them in the face, we're shooting them in the face, we're shooting them in the side of the head, we're shooting them in the back. Yeah? Your angle just gets more and more and more powerful, better and better and better for them pushing onto the point. Yeah? They're helping you if they ignore you, if they don't clear you out. Which, an addendum to all this, one of the absolute best things you can do as a DPS, yeah? If you see somebody doing this to your team, clear them out. You don't necessarily have to kill them. If you do, that's great. But if you get the Cass up here to drop or back out so they no longer have this hot off-angle pressure, that's massive, yeah? And so the last macro concept I think I'm going to give you with your positioning and like the strength of high grounds and etc. Here's the real strength of off angles and why everyone talks about off angles and like we gotta be off angling. We gotta be off angling, yeah? So here's the enemy team. You know, they're wherever, they're doing whatever. Here's your team. They're wherever, they're doing whatever. Who cares? Yeah? And here's you just sort of with them, yeah? You're walking in together, which is a fine starting point, yeah? If you were to, as an example, just teleport right behind them, what's going to happen? Enemy team's going to turn around and kill you, then they're going to turn around and take a 6v5 that they'll probably win, yeah? So we start off with our team. But any individual on the enemy team can hide from this damage around, like, they can all hide around the same corner, they can shield it, they can shoot back, they can deal with all of this from one direction, yeah? Everyone here is in this fight fully. No one's being distracted by anything. It's easy, yeah? And you're just both shooting at each other. So, first things first, as you're walking in, you want to wait just a little bit, just a tiny bit, for these guys to start really looking at your tanks and tunneling on your tanks. And as they start looking at your front line or whoever is going in, and like, if they're looking at a Reinhardt, if they're looking for a wrecking ball rolling around in the back line, a monkey jumping in, it doesn't matter. You just wait for them to look at whichever fucking tank you got, yeah? Then you start splitting. Yeah? And maybe you only split a little bit at first because you don't feel safe to really push it, but then as you go, you can, split further and further. And here's what happens. Anyone on this enemy team, like, you got 6 people looking over here, yeah? They're all looking down at your team. We pop up over here, and we start shooting people. Well, first off, they're not hiding from your damage, they're hiding from your team's damage, so your shots are just going to be easier. They're not paying attention to you, so your shots are going to be easier. You can take the time to line them up and hit them because they won't even notice you're there, especially in a low elo. And then, when you do start shooting at them, if multiple people turn to look at you, and this is the key, this is how we know if we're doing our job on a DPS, more or less, is either you killed 1 or more people and you didn't die for it, or 2 or more people turned to look at you and you didn't die for it. You have cover. You have a corner. They can't actually get to you, but they can't ignore you because you're fucking shooting them, yeah? So if 2 people look at you, then your team is taking a 5v4. While you take this 1v2, that you probably won't win a 1v2, but if you can ensure you don't lose the 1v2, so long as you live, you're creating an advantage for your team that they are, all other things being equal, more likely to win, yeah? This is how you as a DPS take tons of pressure off your tanks and your front line. This is basically required of you going, like, in higher elos, or they'll die, yeah? Your tanks cannot push if you don't do this in a higher elo. And the only reason they can push sometimes in this elo is just because the enemy team isn't doing this either. You're all just 6v6 shooting each other. So if you are the one in the lobby that goes and does this, you're hard carrying games, yeah? Your goal, generally speaking, as a team, is to take multiple angles on the enemy team or surround them without letting them surround you, yeah? So if we have our 3 lanes, people push up, maybe somebody off tank or our other DPS pushes up one side. It's a silver game. I understand it won't happen, but like, we can at least make parts of this happen, yeah? So we as a DPS, we push up the other lane, the one that we see isn't being contested, yeah? Oh, hey, we met a Tracer coming and trying to flank our team. We don't win the duel with a Tracer, but we get her to use recall and run away. Well, now she's not flanking our backline. We have just denied all of her value, but we're still here on this off angle, and as Cassidy, you got range, so you just keep doing your damage, and now we have gotten more value inherently than one of the enemy DPS. We have put our team, like, we've put them on the front foot, yeah? Whether or not that's enough by itself, who the fuck knows? But it's every advantage you can give yourself, yeah? And that's a huge one. And then the last bit of this, and like the key that I think a lot of people miss, is, like I mentioned, it's a process, yeah? We can't just teleport behind them and think it's going to work, that they're not just going to turn around and all look at us and die, and not kill us, yeah? We want to take these angles gradually, and also, I'm not saying never be just like deep in the backline making a play, but if you're deep in the backline making a play, no one on your team can help you whatsoever, yeah? We live and die by our own sword right here. It's all on us, yeah? But if we off-angle somewhere, I don't know, in LOS of our supports, Ana can heal us, yeah? Whether or not a silver Ana does, again, who knows? But we're giving our team every advantage. We're giving them every opportunity to make this easy for them, yeah? We're playing not just within her potential LOS, but literally at her LOS. Our Ana is looking in this direction, so she's likely to see us. Should your Ana be looking around at the whole team to see who needs healing? Yes. Will a silver Ana do that? Not fucking ever. So if you're right here, spamming I need healing, you will not fucking get it, yeah? It's just a fact. Which is fine, yeah? We don't flame our Ana. We go get a health pack, or we position ourselves where she sees us. We give her her best chance of success, yeah? We make her job easy. Okay. That was just a whole bunch of shit. Uh, oh, I watched some Rocket interview on why he only grinded tryhard FFA, and he said he wanted the best mechanics in the game so that he could win every duel. He still scrimmed to keep his game sense up, but I mean, he has a point. If you just don't lose duels, you can hard carry so hard. But those kinds of mechanics are also so hard to get that it's just better to get good positioning instead and just hit the easy shots. Yeah. And like, there is something to be said for your ability to win duels, especially in high elo, where like, everyone knows this, so it won't be, oh, I just hold this off angle and I get free damage because somebody's going to be matching us. Yeah? And somebody's going to be matching people over here, and it's just going to be everywhere you go on the map, somebody is there to greet you because they have the same plan as you, or they're trying to shut you down. And thus, in a really high elo, it's considered a deathmatch meta right now, not because it's like deathmatch per se, it's still very much a team game, but because these off-angle skirmishes, this 1v1 over here, the 2v2 over there, for the staging for the real fight, just to get the angles around the kill box that I've been talking about, those end up being the important fight, and whoever wins those duels, their team probably wins that fight. Whichever side wins more of those duels, I should say. So, eventually, you will need to be a duelist as a DPS. That's just an inescapable fact. But that's like, we're working on that in Diamond, trying to climb out of Diamond. In Silver and trying to climb out of Silver, honestly, just work on your positioning and your rotations, and you are so good, yeah? You will just climb so fast. And it buys you time to work on those mechanics and those dueling skills. Consistency is key, yep. Which is the other thing. If you do want to work on your mechanics and your dueling skills and all that, and honestly, those are the fun skills, so like, I get it if you do. My recommendation is, like Fezzi said, play tryhard free-for-all, yeah? Warm up in tryhard, or like, DPS queues are long, yeah? So your first couple of DPS queues for the day, just play some tryhard. You don't have to burn yourself out on it, you don't need to be doing hours and hours a day, but if you put 15-20 minutes into tryhard free-for-all, where you, the silver player, are getting absolutely clapped by masters and GM players, it's going to be painful. Like, I'm not going to lie, you're going to be like, what the fuck is the point of this? All I'm doing is dying off cooldown. Here's the point of it. The very first thing you're working on in tryhard is not dying off cooldown. That's it. That's it. We're not even necessarily, like, obviously shoot back, but your goal at the beginning is just to live as long as you can against GM fucking players and Masters players and Diamond players, yeah? Who can fucking roll your ass. And learning how to live against them, yeah? Is going to make you insanely better. And then, after like a good 2 or 3 weeks of getting your ass just fucking clapped, you're going to be living pretty good, yeah? And you're going to be living long enough that occasionally you actually land the flash fan, or you get the pick. And oh my god, does it feel satisfying when you're like in a low elo to have killed the Masters player? Even if they were farming you the whole lobby, that one time you legitimately won the duel? Oh my god. Cannot be understated. And like I said, you'll get there couple of weeks to a couple of months-ish, just doing it like 20 minutes a day, 15-20 minutes a day, 5-6 days a week, yeah? Consistency is key. It's not about just putting hours and hours and hours in and burning yourself out. It's about being able to do it every day, yeah? And if you don't want to put that many hours in, whatever. Like I said, it depends on what your goals are. If you just want to get to like gold or plat, and that's gonna, like, you're gonna be pleased as punch with that, then literally your positioning is all you need, and we can just vibe on these mechanics forever. I mean it. Nice. Nice! Yeah, yeah. You could absolutely vibe on these mechanics in plat if your positioning is like,
wise to stay out of my sight.
Thank you.
Cool. I have talked a whole lot, even though we've only watched a little bit of your play. I know that feels a little bit weird, but the problem is, like, you don't know what you don't know, yeah? So I'm just going to be seeing the same mistakes over and over again, and there's just a fundamental misunderstanding of the game right now, which, I mean, duh. If that didn't exist, you would already not be in silver. So, like, whatever, you're here for a good reason. But I'm not going to have a ton more to talk about on this VOD. Get me a game where you are doing your absolute best to live on high grounds, to always be on cover, and to just trying your best to control these outer lanes, yeah? There's so much that goes into it. I can't I'm just going to break your brain if I try to, like, spell out every potential situation for you. It doesn't matter. Just take that starting point, use your head, and we'll do more VOD reviews. And you'll figure it out, and you'll get so much better. But we need the one where you're trying to, I hate to put it this way, but where you're trying to play right, so we can, like, start refining the, oh yeah, but in this case you actually should have played low ground, or this should have been this, or that should have been that, you know, all the fine-tuning shit. But I do want to see this high noon. So let's see this high noon at least. You can stagger the baby diva, that's actually pretty good. So, this is a silver game. Some weird shit is happening.
Never had a chance.
That was actually fine. Yeah? Like, I want to be clear here. And this is the sort of thing that will get you flamed in low elos all the time. But I want you to understand that this play, it was sloppily executed, but the idea was very good. It was not a dumb silver play to just come out here in high noon. I was telling you to do this earlier. It's just like, from here, they all see you as they walk in. You want maximum distance, you want them to be in open space so they can't get to cover, and you want them to have to turn around and look for you, because then it'll take them a hell of a lot longer to line up the shot and hit it, yeah? That doesn't necessarily mean always be, you know, directly behind them, but for that sort of play, that's what you wanted. Another thing you could do is literally be behind your team, behind your shield, and that's actually valid. You want to carry your silver Reinhardt in, like, the Rein v Rein. Don't walk in right on top of him because you'll die, but, like, walk in behind him as he's shielding in high noon and break the other Rein's shield. Yeah? That's it. He'll hold shield, everyone else will run and hide. You break it, and then your Rein gets a free shatter off because their Rein has no shield. Or your whole team just runs over them because in this elo, everyone relies on the shield. Which, the sooner you stop relying on shields and start relying on natural cover instead, the better. Because here's the thing. Reinhardt's in a really bad place right now because it's too easy to just surround him. He has neither mobility nor range, so if you just... Reinhardt's on this point, if you're up here, you just get to shoot him for free. He can't do anything. And if somebody's over here, he can't shield both directions either, so he just spins in a circle while crying until he dies. Like, Rein is in a really weak space. If you have a Reinhardt, it is hyper critical that you do not play with him, like on top of him, but that you look to him for your timing, but you play split, yeah? You can still be in LOS, you can still be near them, but you have to be split from him to pull aggro away from him, or he will just die, yeah? It'll be so hard for him. Good tanks or bad tanks, yeah? And you could almost think of it as being on this off angle, taking pressure off of your tanks, whichever tanks you have, is making your tanks better. If you have good tanks, you now have great tanks. If you have shitty tanks, maybe they're now at least okay. Maybe they can now at least hold their ground a little bit, yeah? You just straight up make your tanks better. It's sort of your job as a DPS, really? Yeah. Whatever. So, unlucky. So, the roll flash fan into the Bastion was into open space into the entire enemy team, and they could have absolutely rolled you. They didn't, and you killed the Bastion. And it was worth. I want to be clear here. You trading Cassidy for a Bastion right now with the respawn advantage is a worthy play. But think about all of the risk factors. If this hog had hooked you, if this diva had DM'd, this guy could shoot you, this guy could have booped you back so you missed the fan, etc. So, like, if this play didn't work, then you just died, and it's not early enough, they'll just be right on the point, yeah? So it worked and it was worth, but you need to be real careful about those, and like I said, it's so much better to just live and keep doinking damage and wearing out resources and living, and just keep wearing them out and wearing them out, rather than risk your life for the play. You don't need to yet. Yeah? It's not do or die yet. It's not 99.9 on the point. They can take ticks. And in fact, you probably lose so many games because you, personally, and all of your teammates int onto the point one at a time. Right now. Like, I mean, this is a little bit different because this fight is looking clutchable. It's just their tanks, it's getting messy and weird, well, tanks and Moira. But if there were like all 6 of them here right now, rather than your team touching and popping ults, they should be hiding around the corner, giving up 2 ticks, and then like at the last second, you touch with as many respawns as possible so you can take a much fairer fight, and then you can maybe clutch it back. Yeah? All that matters is they don't cap. It doesn't matter if they get ticks. Yeah? Here you died to bomb. I get that. It was just unlucky. But whatever. If we position better to cover, we don't die to bomb anymore either. Yeah. You should more or less never ever die to Diva Bomb or High Noon. Like, if every now and again, like, very rarely, a Diva or a Cassidy outplays you, well, they outplayed you. Yeah, that, whatever. But if you are regularly dying to either of those ults, your positioning is trash. Not to flame you, but it's just a self-check, yeah? If you die to those, you were not close enough to cover. And like I said, every now and again, a really, really good play might catch you out just as you were crossing open space. Like, but a good Cassidy, which I believe you can become a great Cassidy, is looking for that. Is looking for those times where they've just entered open space just far enough that they do not have time to get to cover anymore. Fuck it, I'm hitting Q. So, yeah. We just don't ever want to die to either of those ults, more or less ever. And you can consider that you made a mistake anytime you do. And really, anytime you die, just think critically about where you were standing. Good hold. This was a good hold. But yeah, just think critically about where you were standing. Yeah? Was I low ground main? Did I walk into them face first? Was I, like, playing cover in an off angle and just somebody snuck up on me? That could mean that, you know, maybe we need to work on our audio awareness, or maybe we need to be looking around more. Even if, you know, maybe the position was good, but, you know, something with our awareness was off. Or maybe, you know, no, our awareness was fine, that was just a shit position and it got me killed. Okay, mental note. And you learn from that and you move on, yeah? This sounds so dumb, but seriously, die less. Like, not even that you're like a feeder. You're not a feeder. But I just say this to everyone below a certain elo. Die less. Yeah? And that elo is like mid-masters. Everyone below like mid-masters needs to be dying less than they are. They are dying too much. And they will get more value by dying less. Min masters on up, most of the time, they probably aren't dying like too much, and it's more that they need to be making more aggressive plays and taking more risks or whatever, but we ain't there yet. Just work on our positioning and work on living, and like I said, you never see this elo again. Cool. If you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to hit me up. If you would like to drop another VOD, I love seeing how people grow. And like I said, this goes so deep. There's so much more I can talk about and so much more we can work on. I just need to see the VOD where we're trying the things that I've talked about. Yeah? And ideally a loss. Get me one where you're trying these things and it's not working. And we're not sure why. Yeah?